Good evening, everyone. Hello, everyone, and welcome to the penultimate round of the season here for the Gavra Racing Weekend League Tier 2 around this fabulous Spa-Francorchamps circuit here in Belgium. I'm Jack TM53, your commentator as always for this championship, and we've got a lot to get through whilst the drivers are out in their first qualifying session of the evening around this 4.3 mile circuit. Now, I'm just going to run through very quickly the championship standings because a lot has changed since last week. Ansar still leads the championship on 101 points, but thanks to USC Toy TA's double victory in Austria, he's only 1 point behind now on 100. The Steps is very close as well. He's on 84 in third place. Spannel, who's having his best ever season with Gavra this season, he's fourth on 71, and JMB Surreal is fifth on 46 points. Definitely a top three fighting for the championship, although Spannel has an outside chance as well. In terms of constructors, that has also closed up. Alfa Romeo lead on 128, but Haas are 6 points further back on 122. McLaren are on 115, so a three-way constructors fight, alongside Williams on 75 and Alpine in fifth on 55 points. But that's it in terms of the Constructors' Championship, and the Drivers, which is now very competitive once again, thanks to Ansar missing last week. We're now here at Spa, and we got a lot of drivers out on circuit, notably a couple of drivers using the medium tyres to go around the track, getting a feel for the circuit, getting a feel for the breadth of this course, shall we say. And you can see that in the lap time. The two McLarens, interestingly, both on the mediums, and Mikey RK13 as well. So they're obviously just getting a few cycle laps in before they go for it again. But that's a very good set of laps done by the two McLarens on the 143s, showing some good form already. Ansar, though, back amongst where he started, or resuming from where he left off, I should say, in an Alfa Romeo. He's been unbelievably quick this season. No one has beaten him so far, but Ansar is yet to have a pole position, and he was saying to me a few weeks ago, Jack, I don't expect to get a pole position, but that's a very good opening gambit to have around this circuit. We're following one of the AlphaTauris at the moment, which is JMB Surreal. Just coming into La Source now on the exit of La Source and building up the revs to cross the line on a 44.3, just 4 tenths ahead of his fellow Tauri teammate Milo Bello, who is just pulling into the pits. That's a good pace shown by the two AlphaTauris within a couple of tenths of one another. So Tutty Boy's up there in 6th, Spannel's there in 5th place, Sick Boy there obviously in 2nd. There are a number of drivers on their outlaps at the moment. Of course, a lot of different strategies coming into play in terms of not just qualifying but for the race as well, and this is happening whilst we watch out in the qualifying session, because the two Hasses of USC Toy and Ricky are now on their outlaps, building up to prepare for their flying lap. Now USC Toy is down in 15th place, so hopefully Gav will cut over to him, because he's going to build up to go onto his flying lap any second now. Excuse me. So USC is just coming into the final corner now, is the Haas car, and he's just building onto his lap now. So USC Toy is approaching the first couple of corners. I know we're following the Alpine of J-Dog, so let's ride on board with him briefly. Come down towards this first real braking zone after the long straight. We're coming around turn number 7 and 8 at Malmedy. Well, number 8 here at Bruxelles, and he just gets the car turned in. Really difficult corners to get right is Bruxelles because of how the car is opened up with camber, and J-Dog runs over the exit curve. He might have invalidated that lap, and yet he has. Running out over the exit of turn 9, and you can't get away with that with track limits around Spa. They are very strict with that. So unfortunately, the drivers will have to go round once again, see how they get on. USC Toy is on a lap. We're following him at the moment. He's coming through poo on this brilliant left-hand corner, absolutely thundering through the gears going around there. And then on the brakes into the Lefania chicane. Again, another really nice line through there from the Italian. He's on a good lap so far. Comes around Campus and then through Stavolo. And he's on a very good lap, a purple middle sector. Building up to 205 miles an hour, flat through Blanchimont, no problem through there. Yeah, 205 mile an hour for USD Toitier on the brakes, down into second gear for the bus stop. A little bit late turning in for the left-hander, but he'll get over the line. It's a 142.5. I have to say that is a good lap from USD Toy, but that is... He must have a bit of a sickening feel in New Italy when he looks up and sees the gap is half a second to Ant. So New Italy better hope he's got more time in his pocket after that. Like, that's an incredible effort from the Alfa Romeo. There's the steps in fourth place. He's on his second flying lap of the session. Obviously, with Spa being the longest lap on the F1 calendar, it is quite difficult for the drivers to get round quickly in terms of not just doing a flying lap, but then also having to do an in-lap straight afterwards. So they are tied quite badly for time. Steps is coming around the penultimate part of the sector, and he's a lot quicker on this lap. Don't forget, he did set his first lap time on the mediums. He's done a purple middle sector, and he's 7/10 up on his best lap so far. So let's see if the steps can improve on this. He's got to get the braking right for the bus stop chicane. Not too bad there from the steps. On the exit, all the way up through the gears, and it's a 142.4. You would expect the soft tyre to go a bit quicker than that. I would have expected more time from him. What about his, well, I was going to say, what is his teammate doing? But his teammate's going back into the pits. He's still on the mediums. So I think there's more time to come from the steps. I think he can go quicker than that. What about Antar? Will he go any quicker? Yeah, he is indeed. The only man in the 41s is absolutely flying. He's 2/10 up so far on his best lap. And the Finnish driver is looking mightily impressive. On the brakes into third gear for Ant. A little bit tidier coming out of the bus stop. It's a 141.7, and he pushes that advantage to nearly 7/10 of a second. Let's see how everybody else gets on. Tutty Boy's on a lap now. He's in 7th place in the Alpine. He's improving in the first sector. Who else is on a lap? JMB Surreal is on a lap. One of the drivers who competes in both Tier 1 and Tier 2. Does JMB along with the steps. There's a yellow flag out there, but that's just for someone going slowly. Oh, JMB Surreal just went a little bit too deep on the brakes there. That's still a good improvement, up to 7th, right with his teammate as well. So the AlphaTauris separated by nothing, it seems, this evening. J-Dog were following. Or rather, Tutty Boy were following at the moment. Tutty Boy coming around Blanchimont at 200 plus miles an hour. Now, it is interesting. I'm watching the top mile an hour from drivers as they come out of the Kemmel straight. It's the main straight after Eau Rouge and Radion as Tutty Boy goes up to 5th. That's a great effort from him to get onto the 3rd row of the grid. I'm keeping an eye on the top speeds because I think one thing that is notable around Spa is that, yes, you can have a car that's set up for either the first and third sectors or one that's set up for the second sector, the middle part of the lap. And the wet weather conditions can cause a few headaches for people. So if you are going to have wet weather conditions in this race coming up, then what that will effectively mean is that the drivers who go for a more sort of balanced setup that helps them in the second sector, they'll be quicker in the wet. But if they have a dry race, they'll be vulnerable to DRS down the main straights. Who's coming towards the bus stop chicane? It's Mikey in 15th place. He was another driver who started on the means, a little kick of oversteer on the exit of the bus stop. And that puts him up to 12th. So probably lost a little bit of time, did Mikey, with that little correction on the exit of the bus stop. But gets himself up to 12th. And I think that'll be his qualifying done. I don't imagine he'll have enough fuel or time to get around the track and get out again. That is as high as he will be starting. Everyone has now got a lap time on the board, including J-Dog. There's a car that's just stopped on circuit. This is Tutty Boy. It's not stopped on circuit, actually. I'm just looking. Tutty Boy is... Something very peculiar is going on with Tutty Boy's car. He has now started moving, but that was very, very strange. It was just stopped to the inside of turn 15 for no particular reason. But Uithli Toy TA is on a lap. Now, this man, 1 point behind the championship leader. He's shown this season he can keep up with Ansar. He's quick enough to do so. And he's got to show it now. And he's half a second up almost on his best lap. This is looking a bit better from the Haas driver, but he really needs to find a little bit more time. If he's going to threaten pole position, he needs to find the best part of 8 tenths. Can he do it in the bus stop chicane? Brakes a little bit later than what he's done so far. That's a good turn in. And that's much better than what he did before. He's kept it nice and tidy on the exit. This could be a good lap from you, Italy. Oh, on the front row of the grid, but he's just short of the time that Ansar's set. And unless anybody else can improve by a considerable amount, Ansar's looking good for pole position here. Steps is on a lap now. He's got to find the best part of 8 tenths as well. 7 tenths, I should say. He's matched effectively his first sector, but you know, the real difference is going to come through this middle part of the lap. And McLaren really putting through its paces, going around turn 8. Keeps it nice and tidy, really good line now. Front steps. Nice exit. J-Dog is retired, unfortunately for him, so he's not going to improve. Little downshift into 7th gear for the steps as he goes around Pouon. And then into the Fania chicane. 5th gear uses the inside of the curb just a little bit and a little bit more of the left, and that's his lap invalidated, I think. He's carrying on. I think he's invalidated his lap. I could be wrong there. I'll tell you one person who hasn't invalidated his lap, it's Ansar. And the worst thing for everybody else is that he is 2 tenths up in the first sector alone. Ansar has been quick all season, but this is looking like a destruction class from the Alfa Romeo if he keeps up this rate of progress. And the steps went into the pits. I thought he invalidated his time. There was a car that had spun in front of him and that put him off. Paranelli moves up to 4th place. That's a good effort from him. But Ansar looking imperious at the present moment. Oh, he runs wide into... In fact, yeah, I think he knew he ran wide into Campus. I don't think it's going to make much of a difference. The only drivers now who can improve on their laps are Sick Boy and Spannel. J&B Surreal is also on a flying lap as Kobe P moves up to 9th place. Sick Boy just coming into the final corner now. Partner McLaren needs to try and get up there if he can, and he does. That's a 42.2, and he's on the second row of the grid in front of his teammate. Spannell's abandoned his lap, so it's just J&B Surreal left, but he gets the braking wrong for the bus stop, and that might... Oh, and a big snap of oversteer on the exit. That cost him more than anything. Oh, it was looking like a really good lap for J&B in those last two corners. Just let him down. But he did say he didn't think he was going to get pole this season, but Ansar's managed it. The Alfa Romeo with a 141.7. Italy got close with a 141.8. But Ansar wants to take that World Championship with Gavra. And he's stepped in the right direction. We've got a couple of drivers who've left, so let's hope we can get them back in. But let's run you through the grid order then for the 35% race that we've got coming up shortly. It's Ansar on pole position with Italy Toyota in second. Sick Boy is third, his best qualifying of the season with Steps fourth, and Harren Alley in fifth. Spannel sixth with Tutty Boy in an Alpine fourth row of the grid with J-Dog alongside him. KVP and Team Money round out the top 10, then it's Cable Monkey and the two Alpha Tauris of J&B Surreal and Milo Bello in 12th and 13th. Fake Knutson in 14th, and then Mikey in 15th, and FRV Ricky rounding out the runners in 16th. The whole grid separated by just 2 seconds, which for a track such as this, is pretty impressive. There's a quite close fight between everybody. J-Dog saying he could have gone quicker there, so maybe there's more pace in that Alpine than we realise, but we will wait to see. A couple of people in the chat giving a lot of support for Spannel. He does have his fans, does Spannel. Yet to get a race victory is Spannel with Gavra, but I tell you something, he's certainly a driver who not only probably deserves one because he's driven brilliantly this season, but he's certainly someone who tries different strategies. He's joined the session, which is good news. So hopefully we get him and the other driver, I think, which was Ricky, who left, back in as well. But let's see how everybody gets on around this 19 corner, 4.3 mile circuit. Belgium, of course, been around in Formula One for a very long time in different guises, of course. It's had multiple configurations, including its original layout. But here we go, 5 lights coming on here at Spa. And the race is live from Belgium. It looks like a good start from the front row for Ansar, and he immediately cuts into the lead. USA Toyota second, the two McLarens going side by side, and they keep it nice and tidy on the exit of turn 1. Everybody else looks like they've got through relatively okay by the seams of it. Yeah, they have done, which is good news. But it's Ansar who leads, coming over the top of Eau Rouge, and now we're in the slipstream territory. Where is everyone going to be in terms of shaking out down this main straight? Are we going to have any overtakes going into Les Combes? Looks like it's relatively okay so far. Going into the side, oh, that's Fake Nuts and getting it all wrong. Into Les Combes, he's got to slow down, let Spannel back through. And Fate Knutson drops back down to 10th place, but all so far so good from the drivers, keeping it nice and clean. And that's what it's all about here at Gavra Racing. But Ansar won't care about anyone behind him. He is off and up the road. He's got 7/10 to USA Toyota, who is running the medium tyres. This isn't something that I see from the Italian driver that often. But Italy has gone for a different strategy. Starting on the mediums, let's see if that gamble pays off for him later on in the race. If he can keep up with Ansar and keep him in his wheel tracks, he might just have a chance at a race victory, but we'll see. Further back in the field, Spannel and Fate Knutson are fighting hard for 9th place. Fate Knutson looking very quick in his opening stages, has to be said. And sure enough, Fate Knutson slides his way through. That Red Bull looking absolutely rapid in a straight line. And he moves himself into 9th position. and Fake Knutson up from 14th, so he's had a really good start. Spaniel and Tutty Boy both fell down at the start, down 4 places each, so I'm not really sure what's happened to those two. As J-Dog moves up the inside of Kobe P and takes 6th place, good move, and Team Money goes through as well. So lots of little battles happening all over the circuit. We're going to keep on board with these guys because Team Money is right underneath that rear wing of J-Dog. That's a good amount of slipstream he's got there. And J-Dog, as quickly as he got up to 6th, was probably going to lose it. Kobe P's going to try and look to the outside line. J-Dog stops that move from happening, runs a little bit deep into Lecon, but he'll, I was going to say get away with it. Kobe P keeps his nose there, but he won't have the momentum to go past the Alpine and has to stay behind him. But Team Money gained 2 places there. Whoa, big slide from the Red Bull, just about caught it. But we've got quite a big train of cars already. Battling for 7th place, or 6th place onwards really, 6th all the way down to 12th. There's a huge train of cars. So this is a good fight that's just waiting to erupt. But yeah, lots of good on-track action at the moment around Spa. But the fighting that's been going on already, look at the gap between 6th and Harren Ali in 5th place, 3.5 seconds. And they're still fighting relentlessly. Look at Fake Knutson. Fake Knutson's car in a straight line, everyone, is unbelievably quick. He's certainly set his car up more for straight line speed, and he's using it to good effect. J-Dog trying to go around the outside of Team Money. They lean on each other, they get away with it. Oh, Fake Knutson's been turned round. Gets his car pointing in a straight line. He won't be pleased. DRS is enabled. We're going to go 2 by 2 into turn 1. Team Money gets up the inside of J-Dog, who gets a little bit of wheel spin off the corner and loses the back end. But at the front, here comes a change for the race lead. USC Toy TA goes around the outside. DRS wide open. And USC Toy TA is your new race leader here in Spa on the medium tyres. And Sick Boy goes past Ansar, does he? Oh, Ansar's lost the back end. He's going to have to do brilliantly well to keep hold of the car. I'm amazed he kept that all together. But Ansar loses 2 places. That is not ideal for his championship challenge. J-Dog is back in front of Team Money. Oh, take a breath, everyone. There's a lot of exciting action on track already. Tutty Boy there in 9th. Kobe P, 10th place at the moment in the points. J&B Surreal. Fake Knutson's down to 15th, so he's had more drama since he got turned round. This is such a shame because he's got an absolute rocket ship in a straight line. Does the Red Bull. Cable Monkey is now picked up a time penalty, not ideal. But it's USC Toy TA. I tell you what, USC Toy TA has got some speed. He is 1.2 clear of Sick Boy. He's cleared the DRS. And this is vital for USC Toy's championship chances because he's got Ansar behind him with a car in between them. Steps is right there. Harren Ali's there as well. And all these drivers, they're on the soft tyres. USC Toy's on a contra strategy to them and arguably in the best position right now, you could say. But Sick Boy is going to be vulnerable to that Alfa Romeo behind him. Here we go then, onto the Kemmel straight. Ansar's going to get the move done. Opens DRS. Look at the steps. He'll probably do the same thing. And the McLaren blasts on through. Some straight line speed on that car. And Team Money does the same to J-Dog. He goes through. Well, a lot happening already. Ricky goes around the outside of Milo Bello for 13th place. But we're just watching because Ansar is fighting hard with the McLarens behind him. Don't forget the Steps is involved in this championship fight as well. So the Steps will want to try and get past Ansar if he can. But we shall find out. These are some really close battles on the circuit. And we're following the big fight for 6th place really at the moment because Team Money has got a queue of cars behind him. all in a DRS train. Spannel involved in that as well. There's a lot to come from this race for certain. I think there's a couple of big fights going on around the circuit. Team Money now 6 seconds behind Haranali after 5 laps. And that's because he's having to fight so hard with everybody else. But we're riding on board with the fight for second place, because Anzar, will he be able to stay clear of the McLarens? Comes up through Eau Rouge, I don't think he will. In the slipstream, DRS wide open for the steps. He's going to move to the inside line. That's job done before we get to the end of the Camel Straight. What about Sick Boy? He's going to look to the outside line. Ansar breaks a little bit later and just keeps his nose in front. And that was important for Ansar to make sure he stuck with the steps rather than losing another spot to Sick Boy. This is a really, really good fight at the moment, all over the track. They're continuing to fight. Spannel and J-Dog are so close together as well for the fight in 6th, 7th, 8th, 9th and 10th as well. The other thing to note as well, J&B Surreal's on the medium compound tyres in 10th place, is the only one other than USD Toy TA in the top 10 who's running on the medium. So this is a good spot for the AlphaTauri to be in. And because they're fighting so hard, he's in a really good spot for later on in this race. He can just keep up with them. Just watching, keeping a keen eye on the fight for third, because the two McLaren... Ansar does not look as quick as... Oh, and Ansar goes into the pits, so 4 laps. He's had enough of those tyres. Haranali pits as well. A couple of other drivers as well coming into the pits now. But Ansar going for what looks to be the medium compound Pirelli tyres. So he puts those on. So the soft tyres clearly struggling at this phase of the race. Now Ansar pitting early, will that help him in terms of the fight for the race lead? We shall see. Just watching where everybody else is on circuit. No real moves going on for position at the moment. Now, Ansar's gone for the medium tyres with 10 laps to go, and Haranali went for the hard, so that is a brave call from Ansar. Can the medium tyres last that long? Very brave of him, but let's see if that pays off. So in the fight for what is currently 4th place, Team Money is still in front of all the cars behind, but he's got Spannel, Tutty Boy and JMB Surreal running with him. Now I would assume that the softs can do another lap or two at least. We shall find out. In this 35% race, of course. But the AlphaTauri, JMB Surreal just following, tracking the cars in front. And the steps has gone into the pits, and both McLarens have gone into the pits. Now, Sick Boy has slowed down a little bit whilst he was entering the pit lane. Oh, Team Money got that all wrong on the entry into the pit lane there. That's a bit naughty. Yeah, and they're going to have to double stack at McLaren. I did think that. I was wondering why Sick Boy decided to pit, but he... Same time as his teammate, but that will have cost him. Will Ansar come out in front of the steps? Oh, yes, he does. Just about, but... The steps will have DRS, but Ansar will also have DRS on the car in front. This is going to be an interesting fight now for the rest of the Grand Prix. Sick Boy down in 9th place, so he's lost a lot of time as Haranali picks up a time penalty. Here comes the steps. They're going to go too wide. Going into Lake Calm. It's going to be the last of the late breakers into the corner. Oh, contact. Oh, no. And that's a safety car. Mikey has crashed. And that is a safety car, but And Harren Ali's gone out. Now, I'm just looking, but Harren Ali and Mikey have crashed on the main straight. I think they've made contact. I think Harren Ali and Mikey have made contact down the main straight because Mikey's car is off to the side of the course. Ooh, that is intriguing. We'll have to find out what happened there. But I think Mikey and Harren Ali have come together down the Kemmel Straight and have crashed into one another. So that's put USC2TA has gone into the pits, and I think J&B Surreal will probably do the same. And those two started on the mediums will go to the softs. Well, that is drama. So, 2 cars out. USC Toy takes the lead of this race. Where does J&B Oh, J&B Surreal's on the hards. I don't think J&B Surreal was probably wanting to pick those tyres, but there we go. He's on the hard compound tyre, but he's up to 4th. So that has really paid off for him. Everyone else who's out of the top 10, they've all decided to take a moment to see what's going on. Mikey's just confirmed there was contact between himself and Harren, so that is not ideal. So here we go then. Let's have a look at now that the order's shaking out a little bit thanks to the safety car that we're still under at the moment. Let's have a look at the run through. So what is going on here? Antsar and Sick Boy are overtaking each other under the safety car. That cannot be happening. So USC Toy got a free pit stop. He leads the race. Sick Boy is second with Antsar in third. J&B Surreal also benefited from that. He's in 4th, but he's on the hard tyres rather than the soft compound. J-Dog is up to 5th with the steps in 6th place, so the steps kind of got a little bit lucky. That contact between himself and Antsar, which ended up with the steps facing the wrong way. He is in 6th position. Kind of spared his blushes a little bit, that as steps. He's kind of only lost a spot to J-Dog on circuit and a spot to J&B Surreal thanks to the timing of the safety car. Then it's Ricky in 7th. T-Money in 8th place with a time penalty. Tutty Boy 9th. Spannel in the top 10. Mellow Bello in 11th place has stopped for a new set of hard tyres. Fake Nuts and Kobe P and Cable Monkey, they've all pitted, although Cable Monkey was off the road for some reason just then. But Cable Monkey on the new medium compound tyres, as are Fake Nuts and Kobe P. They took advantage of the safety car to get a new set of tyres on. Well, this has been a very interesting race so far. I have to say that there's been a lot of action. We've got a little bit of time to see how everybody will play this in terms of strategy now with the remaining laps to go. You would expect those that are on the medium tyres and the hards, no problems for them to get through to the end of the race. Ansar is saying that there was an overtake happening under safety car, which shouldn't happen. Ansar saying that there was no contact. From our angle, from what I could see, I could be completely wrong, but from what I could see from my angle, it looked like there was contact between Ansar and the step, but who knows whether that's the case. We will not we'll not blame anybody, because that would be wrong to do, of course. But we do have 2 drivers out of this race. And the safety car is in this lap, so we are about to go racing again. So USD Toy TA becomes the effective pace car at this point. And we will wait to find out whether USD Toy TA can take advantage of these soft tyres, make them last the 6 laps realistically that he's got to take them. But we will wait to see as we go once again. And USD Toy has gone, he's already bolted, and Sick Boy is travelling with him. They've kind of left a little bit of a gap to Ansar, so a good restart that for the Haas. He's got to try and pull away now and use those soft tyres to build up over a second advantage before the drag reduction system comes into play on lap 12. But a good start there. J-Dog is right with JMB Surreal. He's going to really have to fight hard on those hard tyres. He's already a second behind the top 3, and J-Dog will fancy his chances of getting past him. As I say that, he picks up a time penalty for running over the curbs at Eau Rouge. Team Money and FRV Ricky fighting for position, but Tutty Boy is going to blast on past Ricky, and the Williams of Spannel trying to go through as well. Couldn't quite make it through. They'll have to slot in for behind, and Team Money's got a time penalty for gaining a position. And I wonder if that happened through Eau Rouge. I wonder if that's why Team Money's been given that penalty. But because Ricky looked very slow going through Eau Rouge, I wonder what happened there between those two. Now, crucially, USD Toy TA is a second clear of Sick Boy. He's over a second clear now, using those soft tyres to good effect. So Ansar, who's in 3rd place and has a time penalty, will have to get on with this if he wants to catch the Italian in front. But I have to say, Sick Boy putting in his best performance so far in a McLaren. He's on the podium and he's driving very, very well at the moment. So let's see if he can do anything to get past the McLaren. We've talked about the McLaren's finishing 2nd this weekend, and well, here we go. Look at Ansar. Ansar again locking the rear brakes into the final corner. Nice little drift through there, but he doesn't want to do that any more often. Oh, he's got it wrong again, and he's half spun through La Source. What is going on with Ansar's brakes? There's something peculiar there. Something's not quite right with that car. That's twice he's locked the brakes, and he's lost a 2.5 to McLaren in front of him. So drama there. Now the Steps is going to try and get past J&B Surreal, but J-Dog's going to try and do the same. He's got the space to go past him, and he goes past the pair of them. J&B Surreal is hanging on. Oh, contact between the 2 in 4th. J-Dog goes through. The Step says thank you and takes 5th place. J&B's trying to hang on, but that could have been a huge accident, and Team Money goes past them as well. Team Money on the grass for some reason, trying to go past the Steps. I don't think that's the quickest line through turn 8. But we will see. Spannel up to 9th place, got past Ricky there as we were watching that fight. But this has been a very quick and chaotic restart. So this happened. Always tends to happen in Tier 2 when we get a safety car. The restart is always very, very explosive. And we're about to have the DRS system enabled as well. So this could all change again. The Steps is running in 5th place, but he's within a second of J-Dog, and Team Money is, and JMB Surreal and Tutty Boy all are. Spannel needs to try and get in that window Because if he loses DRS, he's going to struggle. DRS, as it just says on the board, is now enabled as Ricky picks up a time penalty. Now, Sick Boy and USA Toy TA, in their case, they just need to keep it nice and clean now, because the cars behind have all got penalties outside of the steps in the top 6. So they just need to keep it clean. But the closest fight at the present moment is going to be the fight for 4th position, because J-Dog will be vulnerable going down this main straight. You've got T-Money, who's right on the rear wing of the steps. You can't close the gap now because the steps almost 220 mile an hour down the main straight, and T-Money tries to go through. He pushes J-Dog wide. Very sensibly, T-Money lets J-Dog back through, so J-Dog just loses the 1 spot instead of 2. He's in 5th place. J&B Surreal still there on those hard tyres, trying to hang on. Smell in 9th, Ricky in 10th. There's a yellow flag. That's Cable Monkey, who's spun into the wall and has now retired. Oh, what's happened to J-Dog? J-Dog spun. J-Dog has spun and T-Money's gone as well. Have they had contact going round Puon? Because that's just dropped them both out of the points, and that's an absolute disaster for the 2 of them. That'll give Steps the gap he needs to pull away from J&B Surreal now. He's got over a second to the hard-shod AlphaTauri car, and he might just be able to pull away and try and focus on getting that gap down to Ansar in front of him to 3 seconds. It's not impossible, but if the Steps wants to get into this championship fight more directly, he's got to do that now. So we watch the fight for 5th place, J&B Surreal. Right under the watching eye of Tutty Boy in 6th place. Oh, Spannel! Oh, wow. Close to the wall was that for the Williams. Gee, he's going to be under pressure now from Ricky and everybody else behind him. Oh, no, Spannel! He's in the wall, he's out! The Williams, it's a double retirement for the 2 Williams. Oh, a nightmare for the Czech driver, but that's both Williams out of the session. Fake Knutson in the meantime, it's 3 wide into Lacombe, that's not going to work. Fake Knutson doing his utmost to go through. He's on the inside of Ricky, but they make contact. Ricky's trying to go past Kobe P. He gets through. Oh, Kobe P trying to go for a move that was never going to work. Oh, and Mellow Bellows all over the circuit now, and oh, T-Money's all over the grass. It's all got a little bit messy. Dear, oh dear. Just all went a little bit messy. It all started when Spannel lost the back end, going through Adler Source first, and then had a massive snap through Eau Rouge. Sent him into the wall. Mellow Bellows spun on his hard tyres. And we just had a couple of corners of absolute chaos there, but we've settled down for a moment. J&B Surreal is back right under the rear wing of Tutty Boy in front. We are on the penultimate lap now, everybody, would you believe? DRS is active, so well, will the AlphaTauri be able to overtake Tutty Boy? As someone was saying, I was speaking the other day to a couple of drivers about how the tyres will hold up, and they did say, you know, a couple of them were talking about how the softs aren't really the tyres you want round this circuit because tyre wear is so exponentially larger. But the mediums don't last a brilliant amount of time either. But enough about that. J&B Surreal on the hard compound tyres has found some speed and gets past the Alpine for 5th place. And what a point I was trying to make is J-Dog goes past Ricky for 8th. The point I was trying to make there is that the hard tyres could be the best tyre to be on at this point, because they won't suffer from any tyre wear. And the mediums, whilst they won't be slow or even struggling at this point, they won't be at their best. And the hard tyres will probably be at a parity with them at this point. So, an penultimate lap at this race, and USC Toy TA has just got to take his time now. He should be okay with a run to the flag. He's just got to not pick up any time penalties, do anything stupid. He's got a comfortable buffer to Sick Boy in second place. And it's the Steps in fourth, J&B Surreal in fifth. He's still got Tutty Boy hanging on to his coattails. The Alpine trying to get in the top five. It's a double retirement for both Williams and Mercedes in this race. So, oh, big snap of oversteer for J&B Surreal. And that's going to let Tutty Boy have a little sniff of a chance into turn one. He's going to put his nose there. He's committed and he goes through. And J&B Surreal went a completely different way than what I expected. Tried to take the longest route through La Source to get the best exit out. Let's see if this makes any difference on the run up to Les Combes. He'll have DRS wide open, 212, 13, 14 miles an hour, but I don't think he's going to be close enough. And he isn't. Ricky, though, is close enough to J-Dog. And he gets past him for 8th position. Gobi P running in the last point in 10th at the moment. This is a sort of swing in momentum for the championship because USC Toy TA is going to be leading it come the end of the race. And this has been a fabulous drive from him, and he's got fastest lap as well, so this is really going to help him. Tutty Boy in 5th place though, he'll be happy with that. Well, let's watch USC Toy TA. He's just coming round Blanchimont as we speak. He's had a very good race. He's been excellent all the way through. Decent alternative strategy really paid off for him in the end with the safety car. Breaks into the final corner. It's USC Toy TA who takes his 3rd win in a row here at Spa, and he leads the championship. Great result. Sick Boy takes 2nd. Antzar will take 3rd despite his penalty. He'll be fine. The Steps will take 4th in the end despite spinning off. Tutty Boy, it's a good finish for him to take 5th place with J&B Surreal in 6th. Fake Knutson 7th. Now, who's going to get it 8th? It's Kobe P who takes 8th, thanks to penalties for Ricky and J-Dog. Wow. That was a very good race. A lot of excitement all the way through that. But there is a lot of talking points that will certainly be discussed later on. J-Dog was saying that when he spun, he got tapped further by T-Money. And that's exactly what happened there. So that is a race victory for USC Toy TA, who will take the lead of the Drivers' Championship by what will be a 7-point, oh, actually it'll be a little bit more than that. It'll be now 10-point lead in the championship. The USC Toy TA is the race winner. Sick Boy is 2nd, Antzar in 3rd place. Steps in 4th with Tutty Boy in 5th, J&B Surreal 6th, Fake Nuts in 7th, Kobe P 8th, Ricky 9th, and J-Dog covers to get a point in 10th. Mellow Bello, T-Money were the last 2 classified finishes. Spannel, Cable Monkey, Harren Ali and Mikey all retiring from the race. A nightmare for Williams and Mercedes. So we will take a little moment just to have a breather before we go into the next session, which is a one-shot quali. The driver's saying how difficult it was out on circuit. How slippery it was out on the track, which is true, to be fair. In terms of Spa, it does have a tendency to have its own track conditions. So the second qualifying session is about to get underway very, very shortly. Let's see if we get any wet weather around this track. We do hope so, because that's something that's happened in the real life Grand Prix this weekend. But let's hope that this time around that we can get through it with some even better action than what we've already had. I mean, I know there's been quite a few overtakes this evening, but let's not forget we're at Las Vegas next week, and well, will be overtake delight around the circuit on the strip. But we've got a one-shot qualifying session, so let's not talk about Las Vegas just yet. Got another race to do here in Tier 2 in Belgium. Let's see how the drivers adapt to the conditions. It's a dry track for one-shot qualifying, so the drivers will be pleased about that. And only a few moments now remaining, but so here we go into the qualifying session then. One shot qualifying. Let's see how everybody gets on. But we're coming through Eau Rouge. Let's see how quick, look how quick some of the drivers are. Ricky is at the top of the timing boards at the moment, which just shows you how quick his car is in a straight line. But watch this change as we go through the second sector. Harinali currently out on top in the second sector. This would be a turn up for the books if Harinali got pole position. We wait and see though who is going to be in the best place. But at the current moment, looks very close between the top three as we go around La Fania. And we'll really get an idea of where everybody is at this second split point as we come around turn 14. Split point is just here to go over the line. It's Yuichi Toitier, who looks to be in front of Sick Boy at the moment. In fact, the top four, I'm going to watch the straight line speed is what I'm going to concentrate on, because this is what I was clocking down the main straight. Let's have a look. Final braking zone then, round the final corner, and it's a run to the flag. Who's going to get pole? It's Yuichi Toitier with another 141. A great effort from him, and we've had a few cars disqualified from the session. So let's have a look at what we've got then. So it's Toy TA on pole. The Steps is second with Antzar in third. The other McLaren of Sick Boy is fourth with the Mercedes Haran Ali in the top 5. Ricky is Sick, Fake Knutson and Spannel round out row 4. With Kobe P and JMB Surreal in the top 10. Tutty Boy, Milo Bello and Mikey were the last of the qualifiers with Cable Monkey, J-Dog and T-Money all invalidating their lap times. So they will have a bit of work to do. And J-Dog and T-Money were fighting in the midfield earlier, so they can have another fight again when we go into race 2. We'll see how those guys get on. But our championship leader now, USA Toy TA, so we wait to see how the drivers will get on in this 25% race here at Spa. You had 4 retirements earlier. I can't imagine there will be as many, and we've got dry conditions as well, so no wet weather, unfortunately, which is what we were hoping for secretly, but that has not been the case. And will USA Toy TA do the same strategy that he did earlier on in race 1? Will he get that to work out once again? Now, 25% race, of course, means it's 11 laps. It's the Haas on the left and the McLaren on the right who will make the best start. And the race is live from Spa. Looks like a good start from the front row, and USA Toy TA should be clear into turn 1. You've got the Steps and Antzar side by side. Antzar trying to hang on, and they're going to be wheel to wheel down the main straight towards Eau Rouge. They're not surely going to go side by side. There's been an accident. Fake Knutson's round. Oh my goodness me. The Steps and Antzar were giving no quarter at all. And they're absolutely flat now. And there's a virtual safety car thanks to that accident. And we just settle down for a moment. J-Dog is without a front wing. And Fake Knutson also ended up facing, I think, the wrong way at one point. So I think those two might have had contact. Mikey's got no front wing as well, so it's a miserable weekend for him in the Williams. Just hasn't worked out for him at all. And USA Toy TA's got a drive-through. And we're underway again, a green flag running, but USA Toy TA has got a drive-through penalty. And that has surely just opened up the door for the Steps and Antzar to look at getting a race win. And USA Toy TA will be so furious at that. Well, USA Toy TA leads the way. The front 3 all on the medium tyres. Then the next 3 are on softs. That's Sick Boy, Kobe P and Spannel. J-Dog saying that he got smashed into by another driver. That's a shame. But USA Toy under threat from Antzar, who wants to get on with this as quick as he can. Oh, there's a lot of fighting now out on track, and the top 3 are occupying a lot of our foot. Well, I say top 3, but the top 6 are all very close together. JMB Surreal is right on that back as well. And the loads of drivers coming into the pits. Haran Ali's got damage. Fake Knutson's got damage. J-Dog, Mikey, all got damage. And Tutty Boy is just cruising around. So I wonder, yeah, Tutty Boy's got no front wing as well. So loads of drama on the first lap. Loads of damage to a number of cars. But USA Toy TA leads the way. 2 McLarens going side by side down the main straight, but I don't think Sick Boy's going to be close enough. And he has to slot in behind his teammate. Teammates have to work together here to make sure that they can breeze past the Alfa Romeo, which certainly looks as if it's a little bit slower in a straight line than its counterpart rivals. So Antzar, this is the fight for the race lead at the moment, because the USA Toy TA has to serve that drive-through, and that's going to be an absolute nightmare for him. He's going to have to work away now to ensure he doesn't make any mistakes from here on in. You got Spannel right behind that group. You got JMB Surreal. The top 8 are all within a second of one another. But having said that, Yuichi Toitier has just broken DRS. What a time to do so. That was vital. But I tell you something, Ansar's managed to use his ERS quite effectively there, and he's brought that gap right down again. So much to Yuichi Toi's dismay, no doubt. Oh, Ansar's got it wrong again. On the brakes, he's really struggling into the heavier braking zones as Ansar. And here comes the steps on the outside line. And yeah, Ansar's lost DRS. Yeah, Ansar's got a problem with the brakes here, everybody. This is something that I spotted earlier when he had his two big snaps of oversteer. Look, at Sick Boy, he's going to go past the pair of them. But Ansar might have been quite canny there. Has he got let through? But has Sick Boy got... Yeah, he has done that. Ansar will get the DRS straight back at him. And look at this, it'll be 3 wide. Ansar's on the inside line. Kobe P looking to go through. It's McLaren and Alfa Romeo trying to go side by side into Lake Carmen. Ansar gets his position back. And that is great driving from Sick Boy to go round not just one, but 2 cars. And Sick Boy is up to 3rd. What a move. Really good racecraft between the two car teams fighting for this Constructors' Championship, and Kobe P is on the scene in the Alfa Romeo as well, and that's a much needed tonic for the Alfa Romeo team. They need both cars fighting for this podium spot and, well, arguably the race lead, because Yuichi Toi is going to have to serve that drive-through in the next lap or so. Where he will feed out, I would imagine it's going to be just outside the points. But thanks to that fight and that little fight that's been going on, Ansar is now 2 and a bit seconds behind Yuichi Toitier, who's really got the motor down. The American Haas car is blasting away from everybody else around him. But he's going to have to come into pits, and sure enough he is, to serve his drive-through. So Ansar will have the net this race, but he won't be in a comfortable position. Oh, another little slide of the rear brake. Ansar's definitely locking the rear brakes. It's certainly something that he's struggling with at the moment, as Yuichi Toitier now finally comes out of the pit lane. You see how much time he's lost. Now, can Ansar keep in front of Sick Boy? It's going to be difficult to do. DRS wide open. Look at the closing speed of the McLaren right up the inside of Ansar. And he brakes a little bit later to keep the position that he's just gained. And Sick Boy leads the race on lap 4. You've got the steps in 3rd. Kobe P's there in 4th. Spannel there as well. Don't rule him out. Ricky's about a second back. Then J&B Surreal, Cable Monkey, Milo Bellows in 9th place. Yuichi Toi down to 10th after all of that. But having said that, Yuichi Toitier is 11 seconds off the race lead. Don't rule Yuichi Toitier out from getting some good points here. With his speed this evening, he certainly can be involved in a good fight today. But Sick Boy has the race lead. Now, the ideal situation for Yuichi Toi at this point is for Ansar not to win the race. He'd ideally want the steps to. And the steps realistically does need to win this race if he wants to get into the championship with a realistic fight going into Las Vegas. Let's see how he does. Oh, he breaks a little bit deep into the corner, and Ansar peels off into the pits. So he's going to go onto the medium tyres from here on into the end of the Grand Prix, as do a number of other drivers who go in for a stop now. And the Steps and Ansar both know that this is a chance for them to lead the race here without any problems from behind. But the Steps has got a very quick car in a straight line. Ansar's just looking like a sitting duck here. Here comes the McLaren to the inside line, and that is as easy as you like. Ansar has no straight line speed compared to everybody around him. Kind of similar to Lando Norris in this afternoon's Grand Prix. Ansar is going to really struggle down the straights, I think. And that might just cost him in the... Oh, big snap of oversteer from the Steps. Got away with that. The Steps really needs to get on with this. If he wants to get in this championship fight, he has to win this race. But this has been a good fight so far. Lots of action on the track. And we will see how this unfolds over the remaining 6 laps. And Ansar's got a run on the steps. He's going to look to the outside line, side by side through Blanchimont. They're still neck and neck as they come through Blanchimont. They're going to have to be the late breakers. On the inside at turn number 18. Oh, contact between the two. Going into the pit lane. Well, that'll be debated in the steward's room, no doubt. But they're both pitting now, which sees Ricky go into second place and Spannel leads on the softs. Now, where will those two come out in relation to Sick Boy, who pitted earlier? The Steps is back out in front of Ansar, just. This is going to be tight. I think Sick Boy might just have the momentum on the exit. And he does, and he's going to have the net race lead. Steps will get DRS ahead of Ansar, though. So that's been a bit of a dramatic turnaround, but Spannel leads the race on the soft tyre. Spannel always wants to try something a little bit different. And he's doing it again here in his Williams. Deciding that he just wants to take those softs as far as he can run with them. Then it's Ricky in second. Who I thought would have been leading the race, actually, to be honest. Cable Monkey in third place, but he's got Uiti Toitier just harassing him at the moment through Puon. And he's probably going to look to the inside as Uiti. Yeah, he does. He's going to have to try and make this stick through Fanya. It's going to be difficult, but he's done it, and he's up to third. Now, Uiti Toy, Cable Monkey will do well to actually just stick with Uiti and just try and take a bit of DRS from him. Because Uiti is very quick around Spa today. Look at this Cable Monkey, absolutely closing the gap to the Haas car, but he couldn't quite get close enough and his line was a bit wrong. Spannel in the pits, as is Ricky. And everybody is now coming into the pits. Apart from Milo Bello, who is going to lead a lap for the first time this season. Well done to Milo Bello. Happy days for the AlphaTauri. He's got the lead, but he's got Sick Boy, the Steps, and Ansar closed him right down. Had a big snap of oversteer, did Milo then. He might be overtaken down towards Lake Com if he's not careful. Luckily, he's out of DRS range. And Uiti Toitier has rejoined in 9th place, everybody, just so you're aware. Look at the DRS here. Ansar's going to look to the inside at Steps, but he can't brake later than the McLaren, and he has to slot in behind. So the Steps is up to second. And how do they navigate Milo Bello? This is going to be crucial, because Milo Bello is going to be a sitting duck, and Steps goes through. Ansar's trying to do the same. This is going to be tight. And Sick Boy goes around the outside at turn 9. That was an impressive overtake from the McLaren. They all get around him. And Milo Bello briefly led the race. I'm sure he'll be happy at that. Well, that's all it was. And he will now have to pit, surely. So drivers now on different strategies. Most of the field, though, have pitted. Just having a look, actually, to check if... Yeah, Milo Bello is the only driver who hasn't yet pitted. I expect him to do so. So we've got a 3-car fight for the race lead. Steps, Ansar and Sick Boy all together on circuit. Oh, big snap again of oversteer for the Steps. And Ansar is going to take this opportunity, brake a little bit later and into La Source. The lead goes to the Alfa Romeo. But the problem is that, and I said this earlier, if you take the lead going into La Source, the other car behind will get DRS. They'll just close up the gap through Eau Rouge, as you can see right now. And the McLaren will just pull to the left. DRS wide open, and the McLaren will breeze on back into the lead of the race once again. Now, Sick Boy is going to struggle, I think, to try and hold on to these guys on the medium tyres now. So his race is all about just ensuring that he could take a podium. Could yet prove us wrong, could Sick Boy, because you never know, he might still be able to keep up with this fight, and if he does, I would rule him in for potential race victory later on, because those soft tyres by lap 11 will be pretty much cooked. Mello, by the way, who was leading the race, has rejoined in 14th. So then we move into the latter part of this race, and the Steps still leads by about 7/10 from Anzar. Sick Boy is right there as well. And fair play to Sick Boy. A lap ago he nearly lost DRS, but he's right back in the mix with it now. Can he use those medium tyres later on in the race? That's what he'll be hoping for. Let's see if he can do that. Meanwhile, in the fight for 10th place, Harran Ali has got past Team Money. They're in a bit of a... Oh, no. Team Money, that is not what you want to do with your teammate. Oh, and there's more contact between the Mercedes, and Team Money's out. Well, Team Money accidentally outbraked himself and hit the Mercedes, and then it all just went wrong from there. And it's a bit of a collective mess back here at the moment. Let's watch them though as they go over the rise of Radion down this Camel Straight. Up just in front of them, Fake Knutson is going to go past Cable Monkey for 9th. Milo Bello is going to overtake J-Dog for 11th position. And Harran Ali's there in 13th place. So good fights on the track at the moment. Spannel trying to go around the outside there of Kobe P. I just watched that then through P1. That was an interesting move. But look at this fight for 9th place. Fake Knutson trying to hang on. He just got that position from Cable Monkey, but he's on the hard tyre. And Cable Monkey on those fresh shots should be making that move stick. But Fake Knutson is not giving up in that Red Bull. Now he's going to have to. He gets forced out wide. He gets a time penalty for his troubles. And Milo Bello will also overtake him as well. And those soft tyre cars should just be able to scamper away now. And the hard tyre runners are going to have to fend for themselves. But we're on the penultimate lap. And the fight at the front. Oh, and Steps has gone absolutely sailing off the track. And Antar overtakes the Steps for the lead. And Sick Boy's up to 2nd. DRS is going to be enabled, of course. And here comes the McLaren of Sick Boy to try and take the lead of this race. Watch out for the Steps because he's got double toe. Look at the speed of the second McLaren. The Steps is going to go back on through and he's in the lead of the race again. And it's a McLaren 1-2. Spannel gets 4th in the meantime whilst that's going on. And the McLarens are 1 and 2 and Antar's down to 3rd. There is great action all over the course. But the fight for the race victory is absolutely brilliant. Can the Steps take a first win of the season? Because if he does, it'll just keep him in contact with the championship fight. But his teammate, Sick Boy, will no doubt want a race win himself because he hasn't had one this season. Let's see if he can. And Anzar desperately wants to get a race victory to close that gap on USC Toy TA, who's down in 7th. Could still get 5th yet, could USC Toy, because he's up to 6th now and it's his teammate in front of him. Anzar, look at the speed from Anzar. He's used his ERS quite effectively there, used the battery, and he breezes on through into 2nd place. Now he's prime position to overtake the Steps if he can get the run out of La Source, but the Steps goes very deep into the final corner at bus stop, and Anzar knows what he needs to do. He's planning this as best as he can. He's going to wait till this last lap. What can he do? Oh, where is the steps going? He's struggling with his braking. He's gone off the road, and Ansar's got the lead. So we're on the final lap, everybody. Would you believe it? Up the hill, over the top of Eau Rouge and Radion, and Ansar gets it a little bit wrong. Sick Boy's going to have a chance to try and go past. He's got DRS wide open. Watch out for the steps, because the steps has got an absolute rocket in a straight line. It's going to go to the inside. Surely not. The two McLarens make contact. They go over the track. They just about survive. The steps takes the lead. Wow, would you believe that? I thought they were both going to go flying off the road, but the steps made a desperate lunge into the corner. He gets the move. I don't know if Sick Boy will be pleased about it, but they are teammates. You never know. That's Kobe P round to the other Alfa Romeo in strife. But this Steps has got the lead on the final lap of the race. And he could be on his way to a first victory here at Gavra. Sick Boy there in second place. And Ansar is going to be so frustrated at that. He was planning as best as he can to try and nip through. But Ansar's got some speed in this Alfa Romeo. Look at him closing the gap. He's going to try and look to the outside at Blanchimont. Here we go, boys and girls. Look at this. Ansar's going to go to the outside. This is it for the race lead on the final couple of corners. The Steps just about hangs on. Can Sick Boy get a run off the corner? No, he can't. It's the Steps who wins over the line. Wow, what a race that was. Ansar second, Sick Boy third. Spannel takes fourth. Ricky is fifth in the end. USC Toy should have sixth. Kobe P's got no front wing, so he takes sixth because of USC Toy's penalty. J&B Surreal should finish eighth, and then we got to wait for everybody else with their penalties to cross the line. But my, oh my, what a final lap that was. Have you ever seen the likes of it? That was so frenetic there at the end. That was brilliant to watch. But we will wait to see what the reaction is from the drivers at the end of that. So, the Steps pulls himself back into the championship fight with that win. Ideally, he would have wanted Ansar to have finished third, but fair credit to Ansar, he saved his ERS for that last straight. And USC Toy TA finishing down in seventh. But he did get fastest lap, so it's not all doom and gloom for him. And we can have a chat with the drivers. Well, definitely the Steps. He always joins us for the conversation afterwards, and the Steps is saying he's sweating. Well, he says sweating bullets. Cable Monkey has got driver of the day. I wouldn't really know who to give it to, but the Steps is out there celebrating. He's very happy with that. So let's have a that was some race, I have to say. That ending was absolutely fantastic. Italy Toy would be regretting not being involved in that fight, but everybody else who was watching, wow, have you ever seen a last corner or two at Spa like that one? But let's run through the last order. The Steps takes the race win. Ansar in second. Sick Boy gets a podium this season. Really well done to him. He's had a very competitive outing, probably his best outing so far with Gavra. Spannel takes fourth place. Good result for him. Ricky in fifth, Kobe P in sixth place, Witty Toy TA in seventh, J&B Surreal in eighth place with Fake Nuts in ninth, and Cable Monkey getting the last point in 10th. Haran Ali and J-Dog with Milo Bello, Mikey and Tutty Boy all seeing a checkered flag, and Team Money the only retirement of the session. So we'll go over to the interviews shortly, and we'll see what the drivers are going to say. Hopefully we'll have a chat with the steps, because obviously you got a race win. Whilst that's going on, I'm just working out the drivers' standings as we go into Viva Las Vegas. Incredibly, and this is incredibly, it's so tight at the top. You know, Italy briefly had the championship lead, and I don't think at the moment, I think actually it's 1 point separating the two of them. I think this also has a chance to win the title as well. Let me just count this up. Yeah, it's very close. So it's a top three are in with a shout here. But we are going to move it on to the interviews. Normally it's only the steps who joins in. I think we've got a few drivers actually just joining in. Ansar has also joined us as well, which is good to see. So I'll have a chat with Ansar and the steps in a moment. We'll wait and see if anybody else decides to join us. Because I'm sure that everyone's got a lot to say, and I'm sure the two championship protagonists have a lot to say. Or little, we'll soon find out, of course. All right, let's get on with it then. So I'm going to start with the steps with the interviews. Because steps for yourself, it's... Oh, we've got a few other drivers actually joining in. No, apparently has decided to leave. But steps, hopefully you can hear me. You can unmute your mic.
Yes, can you hear me?
I can hear you loud and clear. Well done on your race victory today, Steps. Been a long time coming, but you got there in the end.
Yeah, finally, I would like to say, finally a race win after such a great season, and the fight with Sick Boy and Anza. I mean, I'm out of breath, and I wasn't even that moving very much.
That was
finally. I mean, it's I'm ecstatic. I don't know what to say. I'm sweating like it's 40 degrees Celsius outside, but yeah, it's my first time finally here. I was quite nervous about the interviews because I caught cold in the last 2 days, and I got my first win. I'm like, damn it, I have to do the interviews now. So, yeah, good news and bad news for me.
Well, despite the cold, you've got a cold in the considerable heat of Czech Republic, where there's a massive heat wave going on, for those that don't know at the moment in Europe. You know, for yourself, a first race victory. Tell me how intense that fight was, and also about your little tactic on the exit of La Source at turn 1 to sort of get out of DRS.
So yeah, I did it twice. The first time I did it, it was an accident.
I thought the first one was.
No, the first one was an accident. I did it unintentionally, but the second time I said, hey, it worked the first time, hey, let's try the second time. And I got a race victory from that. Also, Sick Boy. There was no team orders. Okay, I'm not gonna talk about that because we never actually discussed anything like that, but amazing wingman. He basically held down outside the second sector, so he didn't have the chance to catch up to me completely in the last sector, and yeah, it was really intense back and forth. I'm just glad that I came on top in that freeweight fight.
Yeah, I mean, the other thing as well was Sick Boy being in such a big fight for the race victory was that McLaren now lead the Constructors' Championship. Because obviously you two scored well, Ansar scored well today, Kobe P got a few points for Alfa Romeo, but not as many. So you're in the fight for two championship steps. You've got I'll tell you what the championship standings are before we go to Las Vegas next week. Because Ansar's on 134 points, Uisli Toy TA is on 133, you're on 121 points. With your first win, do you think you can take this championship?
Yeah, that's a tough question. No pressure, right? No, I don't know. I'm gonna certainly try, but I can't promise anything. It's week ahead. It's week ahead of me, and all I can do is to prepare for Las Vegas and hope that I can take both wins. Enza and Utilidio can do not as good as today's race, and yeah, all I can do is hope.
I'll tell you this much, Steps. If you win both races next week, it would make you champion regardless. So that's a good target to have.
I mean, I have no idea. Even I think you said to me the standings. I don't remember.
13 points behind you. It's close.
Okay, that changes my thinking about this. But yeah, it's just all about preparation and keeping a calm attitude and keep my head down and hope for the best.
Brilliant. Well, no doubt I'll have a chat with you later, Steps. But well done on your first race win today, and hopefully all goes well for you next week.
Thank you.
Cheers.
See you later.
See you later. So I'm going to move over to Ant, who's joined us in the commentary box, which is always good to have you, Ant. Are you there?
Yeah.
A bit of a... Yeah, you're here. I want to talk to you first because you looked exceptionally quick in qualifying. Your pole position lap was fantastic. But were you a bit of a sitting duck in a straight line?
Yeah, I have a lot more wings than those other guys. So
Yeah.
in quali it was good, and there was still 3 tenths on the quali lap because one guy came in front of me in the best lap on the quali. So I got a lot of time. But yeah, in the race I was like sitting on the straight.
Yeah, that I did notice.
Yeah. Then
I did know. Go on, Ant. I keep interrupting you.
Yeah, then I changed the wings a little bit low on the second one.
Do you think that made any difference?
A little, yes. Yes.
You've obviously you missed last week's races that we had, but you still come out of that, despite Uisli winning the first race today and then having a bit of a mare in the second one, you come out of this at Spa with a 1-point lead still going into the final round. Do you think you can take the championship? Do you reckon you can win it all?
I think it's more than 1 point now, but let's see. Because he was now first and seventh, and I was third and second, was it? I don't know. But yeah, let's see. But for the championships, I don't know. I have to say, because Las Vegas haven't done only few like 5 lappers done, so. And I think doing it on next Sunday without lane, it's gonna be bad.
Yeah, to be honest with you, that was the next question I was going to ask you about it, but you've answered that one for me, so I'll ask you another one instead. That last lap that we've just had around Belgium was incredibly intense. Tell me about it from your perspective.
When Steps was doing the tactics on the first turn, of course it was frustrating at that time. But after the race, I was like, he was doing all he needed to do, Because if I would be on the P1 in the first corner, I would do that too. So The last one lap was so insane. When we went to the back straight, I was thinking that all or nothing. I tried to go for 2 passes, but managed only to do 1. So, but my hands was shaking a lot when we go to the finish line. And after that, like 1 minute, they was shaking a lot.
Yeah, I can imagine they were. Well, I'll tell you what, I've got one last question for you, Ants, and that's actually something that I was spotting during the race. I made a comment on it a few times. Your car seemed to be snapping quite a lot on the brakes. Looked like you were locking your rear tyres. Was that the case?
Yeah, I got a big wing gap between front and rear. So when the tire was getting more wear, it was so hard to brake. And I have to lift the ABS in the last few laps because it was snapping all the time.
Yeah, I thought that was the case because you looked as if you had a few big wild moments, but you managed to save them all, which is the main thing at the end of the day. But at the end of it all, Ansel, you're still leading the championship, and we've got a big shootout to Las Vegas next week. So best of luck, and thanks for joining me in the comms today.
Yeah, thank you.
Thanks very much.
Yeah.
So, see you next week. Yes, absolutely. Because that is it for tonight's action in the Tier 2 League. We've obviously got Tier 1 coming up later on, ladies and gentlemen, which you can watch at 8 o'clock British Standard Time, or an hour later if you're based in Europe at 9 o'clock. Do make sure you tune in for that. There is a huge championship fight going on. With Joss leading the way, but he's got a lot of pursuers close behind for that championship. The Tier 2 lobby will be back next week for the final round of the season at Las Vegas on the Strip, a track that not many people have really practiced around because I'm assuming it's going to be a huge DRS train from start to finish. That could end up being a very fascinating race to watch and commentate on. But I'm Jack TM53, your commentator as always in Tier 2 for Gavra, and wherever you might be in the big wide world, have a good one. See you in a few hours.